There's people who get their heads severed and put into these cryo chambers or whatever.
Yeah.
Like the people that own those cryogenics companies out in the desert in Arizona. Like, do you think the first thing that they're going to be worried about is saving those heads when the grid goes down? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. And plus, they would, well, after a few weeks, they would start to warm up. But yeah, I spent a whole lot of time down there. I almost forgot. It's how I opened the book. You know, I spent a whole lot of time down at Alcor, and to see how that works, and you know what the whole thinking is
I had a guy in here once who he had a dog tag around his neck he was wearing, and I was like, "What is that?" He's like, "Oh, this is." We didn't even plan on talking about it, but he brought it. He was like, "Yeah, I paid an exorbitant amount of money."
Yeah.
To reserve a freezer for my brain after I die.
Yeah, and he's only doing the brain. You know, if you pay more if you're doing your whole body.
Oh, people do their entire body.
Yeah, yeah, and essentially it's like plexiglass. You know, that's all that's left. You know, because they just slowly freeze you down and then take all the moisture out of your body, and all of which will come back. But the whole concept is that you won't come back until the technology exists to reanimate you. But
we don't have the technology to reanimate anybody yet.
No, we don't. But as one scientist that's in the book, you know, put it to me, he said, "Look, you know, it's like an experiment." He said, "You know, you have the control and you have the experimental animal," and he said, "Clearly, I'm the experiment because I've done this." You know, he said, "But I already know what happens to the controls. They all die." He said, "So what's the downside?"
Wow.
May as well give it a shot.
Yeah, it's a gamble. If you got that kind of money to throw at something like that, I guess why not?
Well, they argue that you can get a life insurance policy and then turn the life insurance policy over to them so that when they die, they become the beneficiary. Alcor becomes the beneficiary of the life insurance policy, so you don't have to actually pay.
Oh, really?
$250,000. You just get a $250,000 life insurance policy. Then you turn it over to Alcor. So you're paying the premium, but it's nothing like that amount of money.
Yeah, I was always just so skeptical that was just some big scam.
I know the guy that I spent a lot of time there, and I know the guy that runs it, Max. Trying to remember his last name now, but he's legit.
Really?
Yeah, they're not you know, making tons of money from it or anything. I mean, it's there. I saw it. You know, I saw everything they do. You know, it's not something they're making up and just putting money in their pocket. And they have a lot of rules and regulations and everything. That money is set aside, and it's even set aside that when you wake up, you'll be able to get back on your feet financially and, you know, live a life.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they have a plan for what happens? Because if you're dead, right, like legally you're dead, so they get the money from your life insurance policy, right?
Right.
Do they have a plan on what happens 400 years from now whenever that person comes back to life?
I'm not sure if they're buying into the idea that in 400 years they won't have solved the problem. I think that's the way they see it. So it's a good question. I don't think I asked that question because they clearly feel that they're going to solve the problem, or that science will at some point solve the problem, and so they create. It's a foundation, so the money goes into the foundation, and then it's invested. So somebody's going to have a boatload of money, that's for sure.
Right.
You know, if they don't figure it out.
Wow.
And some of the people were, you know, they were frozen in the 70s and 80s. I mean, there's no chance that they're ever coming back. I mean, the technology just wasn't good enough to get them to a state. I don't think. I suppose it's possible that if you could, you know, some genetic technologies might 100 years from now be able to reanimate anybody.
Didn't Steve Jobs have that done?
No, he didn't have it. There were discussions about it, and there was discussion. You know, there's you know, stories that Disney had it done and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
But he didn't. He's really in, you know, he's really in a cemetery right outside of Burbank. But Ted Williams is there, and his son is there.
Who's Ted Williams?
Ted Williams, one of the greatest hitters ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was the last guy to hit over 400.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, yeah. And his son, ironically, he got his son in, or he got his dad in, and then he died of cancer.
Ooh,
So he's there too.
wow.
I wonder, if you come back to life, will the insurance company want their money back?
If they're still in business, if they still exist.
With interest?
Yeah, yeah, right. And will they exist? Because with all the, I mean, I was just talking to a friend of mine in the insurance business, and he said we're just getting hammered because of global climate change. He said, you know,
They're getting hammered because of global climate
they're
change.
paying billions and billions of dollars. He said nationwide has lost $100 billion a year over the last 3 years because of hurricanes and flooding.
Or property insurance.
Yeah. And they stopped writing new policies.
Wow.
I mean, you know, when insurance companies start freaking out, you know you've got issues.
Yeah. That's not a good sign when insurance companies are freaking out.
No, they rarely are short on cash. So it's like, again, you know, that's another big thing that's going on. You know, it's another big force that's taking place, that's converging, you know, in the 21st century. You got to really hold on to your diapies.
So